Hello, I'm Sam from Cultaholic.com and this is Graded for NXT, NXT UK and 205 Live, where myself and Tom Campbell will take a look at each show segment by segment and award each little bit to grade from A+ to F. We are still hot off the heels of SummerSlam and TakeOver. Things are just starting to settle right back down again, so without any further ado, I guess, hit the intro. So we start things off as we always do with 205 Live, and tonight we have a big mega tag 10-man eliminate. It's a Survivor Series match. 205 Live has like a Survivor Series match on it. Show opens with both Lorcan and Gulak, who are the respective team leaders in this one, basically saying they're going to win. So here we go, we're in the arena, the crowd goes wild, and then out comes Ariya Daivari. Jesus, this is literally going to be a 50-minute match. I suppose we can't really complain. It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to make it last so long and not be boring, so yeah, let's crack on. You all know my short-term memory is terrible, so I apologise, but I'm going to read all of these names off the sheet. So, the only match tonight on 205 Live, the one match on 205 Live, is Drew Gulak, Ariya Daivari, Mike Kanellis, Tony Nese and Angel Garza versus Oney Lorcan, Jack Gallagher, Akira Tozawa, Humberto Carrillo, and Isaiah Swerve Scott. I always say that name wrong. Isaiah Swerve Scott. 10-man elimination tag match. I don't really know how I'm going to cover this, considering it's just like an episode-long match. So I guess I'll sort of go elimination by elimination with anything important or any big moments just sandwiched in there. Things start off with a bit of a brawl with everybody going a little bit mental at each other, and then Lorcan and co are stood tall. Jack Gallagher goes under the ring, fetches umbrellas for everybody else, and they hit quadraphonic dives to the outside with the umbrellas. It was really cool. Then Humberto and Garza go at it with some really strong lucha offense. These two are cousins in real life, and as far as I'm aware, I think they have the exact same name. But Garza strips off his tights to reveal Trunks, gets a massive pop from the crowd, and then tricks his cousin into trusting him. He's like, no, we're cousins, and then he obviously acts like a dick. He's on Gulak's team. Things eventually heat up. Tozawa hits that massive cannonball he likes doing off the apron to the outside. Back in the ring, Mike Kanellis pushes Tozawa into Gallagher, knocking Gallagher off the apron, creating a bit of a distraction. Mike then hits the rolling cutter and picks up the 3. Akira Tozawa has been eliminated. This is very quickly avenged by Gallagher sort of sneaking into the ring while Kanellis is just getting up and raising his hands, hits him with a headbutt. Mike Kanellis eliminated. Gallagher and Nese have a bit of back and forth, with Gallagher having fun with Nese as he balances himself on the top rope, but then Daivari interferes and Nese gets really angry at him. He's like, I don't need your help, I can do this alone. A little bit later, Gallagher goes to hit a dive on Nese, but when he goes to bounce off the ropes, Daivari low bridges him, he falls out of the ring, then back in the ring, Nese hits the sunset driver and picks up the 3. Jack Gallagher eliminated. Isaiah Swerve Scott then enters and gets some of the best reactions of the night from the crowd. They absolutely love him. We then cut backstage. Gallagher, Tozawa and Kendrick are all arguing, and things get a bit heated between Gallagher and Kendrick when Gallagher calls Kendrick out for knocking his foot off the rope the other week. They're basically going to wrestle next week, I think is the gist of this one. But when attention's directed back to the ring, Lorcan hits the half and half on Nese, sending him packing. Tony Nese eliminated. Swerve then gets another chance to shine. He takes care of everybody with some really fast, really innovative offense, including, I think he goes out of the ring really quickly onto the apron and just double stomps Gulak, who's sort of hanging on the bottom rope. It was great. Daivari then interferes on behalf of his boss, causing Swerve to land neck first on the rope. Gulak hits the Cyclone Crash and picks up the 3. Isaiah Swerve Scott eliminated. And then we go back to the battle of the cousins. Garza and Carrillo just go at it. It's great. We then have a little picture-in-picture backstage promo from Lucha House Party, and they're all sort of sat there, and Lindsay's like, you know what, maybe it wasn't Humberto last week, and Kalisto's like, I reckon it was Daivari, and I think next week I'm going to beat the truth out of him. Realistically, I hope it's not Daivari. I hope that Lindsay's just sat there hoping he's got away with it and that the truth's going to come to light, and then Lindsay's going to turn, the Lucha House Party's over, everything falls apart. It'll be great. Lorcan then gets in and cleans house. He sends Gulak to the outside. He sends him sailing over the announce table. He has his life Lorcan is fighting off all 3 remaining members of Team Gulak until Gulak grabs a chair and nails him with it, getting himself eliminated. With Lorcan done in, Garza and Daivari run wild on Carrillo. But Lorcan and Daivari eventually get the hot tags, and I've made note of this here because I know I would screw it up if I tried to just remember it. So, Daivari misses the Persian Lion Splash, Lorcan misses the half and half, Daivari misses the Hammerlock Lariat, and then Lorcan rolls him through. And all of this happens in like a fraction of a second. It was done so well. It was like they were just scouting each other's moves and worked out how to do it perfectly. So with that, Arya Daivari has been eliminated. Then Garza almost pins Humberto, but the referee catches his feet on the ropes. Garza here is just great. You can't take your eyes off him. 1, he's like a ridiculously attractive man. 2, he's selling his anger, everything about him. He's just a full-blown character. He was screaming in anger. He was throwing a hissy fit. It was great. It was so good. And when he reaches for desperation, he hits this like rope-assisted suplex thing. He goes for this moonsault. It just looked like he was really trying to end his cousin's career. But it's not enough. Humberto eventually hits his weird twisty splashy thing and sends Angel Garza packing to win the match. Angel Garza is eliminated. Humberto Carrillo has won it for Team Lorcan. So I'm going to give this match, and by this match I mean all of this week's 205 Live, just one big fat grade, and that grade is an A. For such a long match, it was paced perfectly. Everybody got to show their stuff off in a really good way. Swerve and Garza are ready-made stars, like legit. I think you could just call them up and everybody would just love them. Garza versus Carrillo is a feud waiting to happen because there's all the inter-family politics. Kendrick and Gallagher are going to square off next week, probably. Kalisto's going to go after Daivari and hopefully eventually realize it was Lindsay all along. And Gulak looks cowardly but unhinged. He will do anything to beat his opponent, even lose a match. So yeah, big week this week, very big week. Everybody that hasn't watched 205 Live and is watching this, get it watched. That match is amazing. But I'll hand you over now to Tom Campbell, who's going to cover NXT UK.
Dandruff. Hi! It's Mr. Campbell, and this is NXT UK Graded. We are still in Plymouth, and we are still on the road to Cardiff. And we kick off with Imperium taking on The Hunt. I think The Hunt might be my favourite tag team, you know. They're brilliant. I want to see vignettes of them living in the woods, chasing elk and eating bark. They really held their own against Fabian Aichner and Marcel Barthel this week, but wasn't to be as Wild Boar went for a cannonball in the corner. He missed, led to a double drop kick from Imperium. It led to Primate getting powerbombed on the apron, and it led to that huge powerbomb uppercut combo from Imperium for the 1-2-3. Giving this a C+ this week, once again showcasing the power of Imperium. And I want to see more from The Hunt at some point, please. Radzie's backstage trying to get an interview with Volta, but there's some shenanigans going on in the Imperium dressing room, and the cameraman gets knocked down, and when the camera comes back on, we see Marcel Barthel on the floor injured, and we see a pair of shoes walk past. They're attached to legs, obviously. We learned 2 things from this. We learned that 1, Plymouth was carpeted in the 90s, and 2, somebody's attacking Imperium. Maybe it's the same guy who attacked Roman Reigns. Kaylee Ray versus NXT UK debutant Shax in this match. This is all Kaylee Ray. Just one point Shax gets a little inside cradle, small package type thing, but it's not to be. Kaylee Ray wins in quick order with a gory bomb 1, 2, 3. Kaylee Ray is on the mic, trash talking Toni Storm after this. This brings out Toni, and Kaylee straight in the face of Toni Storm is saying, you know why you've got no friends. You know why all your ex-boyfriends went to find other girls. You know why your father left you and your family when you were younger. And that's it. That last comment snaps Toni, and she slaps Kaylee Ray. Kaylee Ray leaves holding her face with a smile wiped across it. She has rented an apartment in the head of Toni Storm. B- for this. I've enjoyed the build to this feud. Now it's underway, and now we are so tantalizingly close to the match. Let's let them at each other. We get a promo now for the last man standing match at NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff between Dave Mastiff and Joe Coffey. Coffey is training with other members of Gallus inside the Performance Centre. Dave Mastiff is training by lifting tyres near the railway tracks. Giving this segment a B. I really enjoy the juxtaposition of here's a man training with equipment, here's a man training in the rough. I can't decide whether the thing they did where they were counting from 1 to 10 throughout the promo was unique or cheesy. I can't decide. Radzie's interview with Jordan Devlin is cut short by Kenny Williams, who says, hey Jordan, I haven't got a match at TakeOver Cardiff and I'm not whinging about it. How about me and you have a match next week? A battle of the people that don't have matches. And Jordan Devlin's like, yeah, all right, we'll do that. I'm paraphrasing. As these two make their separate ways away from the area, suddenly Walter and Alexander Wolf burst through, the last standing members of Imperium tonight. And Walter says, bring Tyler Bate to the ring later tonight. He's not very happy with Tyler Bate. I presume it was Tyler Bate that attacked Imperium then. I mean, they kind of set it up as a whodunit, but then I think Walter just kind of gave us the answer. James Drake and Mark Andrews is up next. If Mark Andrews wins tonight, he and Flash Morgan Webster get added to the tag team title match at NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff. And what a moment that would be for Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews to get a tag title match in their home country of Cardiff. Great match with these two, really livened up by the crowd. I love whenever Zach Gibson is out in the ring, the NXT UK universe becomes a footy crowd. Pretty much every football chant you can imagine directed at Zach Gibson during this. The whole thing falls apart when Gallus come out and start a fight with everybody. It is during the shenanigans that Mark Andrews hits a Stun Dog Millionaire and rolls up James Drake for the 1, 2, 3. And that's it. The Welsh boys are off to their home country to take part in a tag team title match. Giving this segment a B-. I've really enjoyed the build to get Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster ready for a tag title opportunity. And finally, out from the crowd comes Trent Seven. Makes his way into the ring. This brings out Walter, who is in a terrible mood after tonight. Alexandra Wolf bringing up the rear, but Wolf doesn't even make it to the ring because Tyler Bate blindsides him with a steel chair, leaving Walter alone with Moustache Mountain. And they give him a shoe-in. Tyler Bate just wailing on Walter with a chair and drops him with a Tyler driver in the center of the ring. We then get two amazing calls from commentary. We get Vic Joseph shouting, big strong boy indeed! And we get Nigel McGuinness shouting, Der Ring General ist gefallen! Points for German! The last shot we see on NXT UK this week is Tyler Bate standing over the prone body of Walter, holding up the WWE UK Championship as the crowd go crazy. Giving this segment a B+, just brilliant. I think the only thing that let it down is it's not the go-home show yet. We've got one more week before NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff. This should have been the last shot that we saw before we got to the show. Overall this week, I'm giving NXT UK a B. Really strong build with a big strong boy at the end as we head straight towards Cardiff. Yakida, Yakida, Dakiya. Sam Driver's back from the Teachers Lounge. Let's go to him for NXT.
Thanks for that, Tom. Now let's go back across the pond and have a look at NXT. And this week's show opens with a promo from the Undisputed Era. So it's your pretty basic heel promo 101. Cole gets in the ring. He's like, I am the greatest NXT champion of all time. I'm better than Nakamura. I'm better than Balor. I'm better than Gargano. I'm better than Ciampa. And the crowd hate him. Roddy then gets on the mic and says that Velveteen Dream pinned Pete Dunne. He didn't pin Roderick Strong. And he's gonna definitely take that North American title from him when he gets a chance. And then O'Reilly calls for footage to be shown of a tag that the referee missed that cost them their match at TakeOver. Fish then calls Regal out, calling him a silly prat, and there were people that were like, oh, like prat it's like an endearing, like childish way to say dickhead. It's and I just loved because, like, you know, it got such a weird reaction just to hear people go about prat. Regal doesn't emerge though, and Cole says that the prophecy will be fulfilled by the end of the year. The Era are going to hold all of the gold. And then just as they're making their way back up the ramp, who comes out but Jordan Myles, the NXT Breakout Tournament winner. Myles essentially cashes in his contract there and then on Cole. Cole tells Myles, you know, you don't want to go in the ring with me. Go anywhere else. Go NXT, go 205 Live. Have a shot at one of their titles, but I will end your career. Myles is pretty insistent though, although he doesn't actually say a word, and when Cole goes to take the contract from him, he just drops it on the floor, smiles, and walks away. We then go to a backstage recording from earlier this week at the Performance Center, and it's the former Jonah Rock. It's Bronson Reed, and he's saying that he's had a great time in NXT so far, and he thinks he's going to go talk to William Regal about maybe getting some more opportunities to shine on TV. And then up comes Shane Thorne, who's like, how dare you ask for more opportunities? You've had all the opportunities in the world. And Thorne's like, I brought you here. You owe me thanks for you being here. Reed, though, not want to take this level of abuse, just says, all right then, let's have a match. And that'll be happening later on this episode of NXT. We then go back to the ring for Mansoor versus Damian Priest, and they mention that he won the 50-man Battle Royal. Priest drives him immediately into the corner. Mansoor tries to climb backwards, and Priest just yanks his legs out. His head violently hits the back of the turnbuckle, and then it hits the floor like he goes bum bum, like that. It was nasty looking. Mansoor does fight back though. He gets to hit a dive. He gets like a roll through attempt that almost picks him up a pin, but Priest, like he's swatting a fly, just takes care of him. Priest hits his finish and picks up the 3, and this match gets a B-. I like that Mansoor is getting to shine more and more in his squashes. I remember when he would just rock up and just lie down for Jackson Riker, that sort of thing. I'm glad he's actually getting to show off things like he did this rope-assisted neck breaker, which looked really cool. He hit a dive. The fans are on his side, but Damian Priest, he got quite a reaction when his intro to his Tron hit. Especially with the move to TV, I'd like to see Priest become the big bad of NXT. We then keep it in the ring, and out comes Mia Yim, who's going to be facing off against Vanessa Borne, who, of course, as always, has Aaliyah at ringside. Borne starts off strong with Aaliyah, distracting Yim as and when she can. She's even able to get Yim through the ropes, at which point Aaliyah hands her a sticker, and she slaps it onto Mia Yim's backside, and it says lower. And I get that wrestling should be relatable for people. Everybody's been in a situation where people are being a dick to you, but there was something really hokey about the sticker that just says lower. Yim then fights back though to prove that she's better than both of them combined. She hits a finish and picks up the 3. And then just as she's celebrating, out comes Shayna Baszler. So Shayna compliments Yim and she says, you've taken me to places that no other competitor's taken me. As Shayna makes her way down to the ring, the Horsewomen also jump up from out of the crowd onto the apron. Shayna then extends an olive branch. She sort of asks Mia if she'd like to join the Horsewomen. Mia pauses for a second, then turns around and lays into Duke, refusing the offer. However, the Horsewomen overcome and Shayna eventually stands tall, but I'm really, really sorry, but this gets a D. This for me is a massive misfire. I get that we're building Mia Yim to be this streetwise badass, and she's great, and we can build that independently of the whole Shayna thing. We can do all of that. But I think with Shayna, the beauty in her character for me is that she doesn't need anybody else. She's got her 2 friends anyway, who are from outside of the wrestling sphere. She's brought them in with her, and these people are all real, credible, they will beat you up. But when Shayna extends an olive branch to somebody like Mia Yim, a wrestler, I think that shows weakness in her character. And yes, maybe we need to see that weakness out of Shayna because, she has been pretty one-dimensional and I'm really tough. But at the same time, that's what I like about Shayna Baszler. She just does what she says she's going to do. She says she's going to hold on to that belt, she holds on to it. She says she's going to murder you, she will murder you. But instead it sort of came off as I'm not going to beat her again, so I may as well ask her if she wants to be friends. And that's, for me, not what Shayna's character thinks like. Shayna's character, to me, thinks she will do anything to keep hold of that gold, fair enough, but she will mercilessly destroy everybody in her path. But then we go to the next match of the night, which is Shane Thorne against Bronson Reed. Reed is on top of Thorne from the get-go. Thorne occasionally uses his speed to try and get out of it, but Reed's having none of it. There's one point he just throws him onto the mat and then just sits on him. It was great. He's also wearing red and black, which was really reminiscent of Vader, and I like that because they're both similar type guys, big men that can move fast. Thorne has to resort to chop blocks and dirty strikes to really get the upper hand. And this does get him some time to work, but Reed eventually overpowers him. Thorne then spills to the outside, and then once he gets back in the ring, then Bronson Reed has to follow him in. This gives him enough time to hit the running knee strike and pick up the 3. The Dream then arrives, and starts talking about beating Pete Dunne and talking to Roddy Strong, even though he's not in the ring. It was kind of funny, kind of weird, but he essentially says that, Roddy, you want to have a go on this ride, then, you're going to have to come and get it quick because the Dream likes being on top you know, and the Dream is never not going to be on top. This one, because of course it had the Dream promo in there at the end, it gets a B-. Thorne looked like a dirty, sneaky, horrible heel. Bronson Reed looks strong as hell, and Velveteen Dream improves anything that he's a part of. Anything. And then we go back to the ring for tonight's main event, which is Killian Dain versus Matt Riddle. And Dain's Tron, Dain's music, Dain's ring attire, everything about him is just better. It's so much better than when he was in Sanity. He just looks like he means business. However, Riddle's music hits and he jumps him from behind in the ring. He's giving him a taste of his own medicine. He takes it to Dain hard, but eventually Dain just starts targeting the damaged ribs because he's got his ribs taped up, which is just like a big target. It's just like spray painting a big target on yourself there, Matt. He even goes as far as to stand on Riddle's ribs while he's trapped in the corner. But despite this, Riddle is able to overcome the pain and he even hits a massive suplex on Dain to get his second wind. Riddle then keeps the power coming. He's trying to outpace Dain and keep him grounded before he has a chance to get back to his feet, and it works for a while. But eventually Dain hits that corner cannonball that he loves doing, and when he goes to hit the senton, Riddle catches him into a submission hold. Dain powers out, but Riddle then hits the bro to sleep, a massive powerbomb and a final flash knee strike. When Riddle goes for a moonsault, Dain gets his knees up though and again connects with that torso, sending Riddle to the outside. Riddle's like resting up against the ring steps and Dain's about to go and like dive into him, but he moves and Dain connects with the steps instead. And then Dain like overhead throws Riddle. I guess he was going to sort of like overhead backdrop him, but it didn't go quite to plan. It looked like a bit of an awkward scorpion-y landing, but hopefully both guys are okay. And then Dain lays Riddle across the steps and hits a massive step up senton onto him, and it looked nasty. It looked awful. He scrapes him up and throws him back into the ring, and he hits a trio of Vader bombs as Riddle starts bleeding from the mouth. He picks up the win. Killian Dain has defeated Matt Riddle. However, as Dain's on his way out, Riddle gets back to his feet and dives on him just as he's about to jump through the curtain, so they're brawling backstage. This one gets a B+. It had a bit of everything, and I really want this feud to never end. It needs to continue until there is just hell. There needs to be this huge blow-off stipulation match, I think, with this. It's going to be brutal. I love the desperation on show from Riddle. I love that Dain continues to be this horrible, brutalizing monster. I just want to see more of it. Just lots more of it. And in terms of an overall grade for NXT this week, I'm going to give it a B-. I think despite my biggest gripe, which was of course Shayna looking a little bit weak to me, I get why you've got to show that weakness in a character, but for me it's just not something that Shayna would do. There was still some really good things on the show. I'm looking forward especially though to the advancement of Dain Riddle, and I'm fingers crossed hoping that now we're moving toward TV, Damian Priest can start getting a real big push on these 2-hour shows to become the monster heel I know he can be. But that was graded. Let us know what you thought about all 3 shows in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. You can follow Cultaholic on Twitter @Cultaholic. You can check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you like what we do here at Cultaholic, you can check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/Cultaholic. And no matter what you do, don't ever forget to hit subscribe and join us.